At UT, for example, I said, if you are serving a customer, at least every 10 minutes, if you haven't finished, go and say something to that customer.
Yes.
If you ask it, they're coming. It's okay.
Yes.
At least he or she knows that you are respecting their time.
Yes. We promised for part 2 of this interview, and today we are here for that discussion. Not to talk too much, I have with me here Mr. PK Amoabeng, who was the managing director of UT Bank, and also now he is the founder of PK Amoabeng Foundation. Mr. Amoabeng, welcome back.
Thank you very much. How have you been?
Very well, very well. I think your story cannot be shared in just one episode. That's why we are back today to continue the story.
I don't think we even started the story.
There's so much to be shared. I don't know whether there's even going to be part 3, but let's take it. Let's try and summarize it in a way for people to really get to know you better and learn from you. I want to go straight to business. Now, this session, we're really going to talk about the UT story in terms of building a winning team. And I want to start from your humble beginnings. You started at a Cantamanto.
Yep.
In a small office.
Yeah, one-room office.
One-room office. How many staff were there at the time?
3 plus myself.
3, so that's 4.
One table.
One table.
No toilet.
No toilet. But do you think in our generation we believe in humble beginnings?
Let me even add more. At the time I started Unique Trust, I had a broken home. My wife had left me with my kids, and I was broke, and I was 45 years old.
Wow.
That is what I think the youth should understand. Now to your question. What did you say?
What I'm saying that, do you think this generation, we believe in humble beginnings?
Generally, we don't. But you see, it is the natural state of affairs. Take what God did in his world. You are born very little, feeble and everything. Then you learn you grow and learn how to crawl, how to walk.
Yeah.
Now you can run, and you grow older and bigger. If you take even a forest, the tree starts with a seed, germinates, very weakling thing, and becomes big. So the natural state of things, or the natural growth of things, is from small to big.
Okay.
So in business, I don't see why it should be different. Because if you start big and you fall, it will cause a lot of havoc. It will disturb the whole system.
Wow.
If you start small and you fall,
nothing to lose.
It doesn't do much. And there are a lot of small businesses that fail, but it doesn't cause much problem. But when you are big and you fall, you see the appeal that come.
Yes.
So, yes, people should learn to start small. There are a lot of advantages in starting small. You learn how to be very economical. You also learn the various facets of the business. Because when I started, for example, I was the person who interview the client, go out to look for money, disperse the money, follow up and go to the houses in the night or whatever to chase the money. I will come and enter in the booth, so I was the counter. So I was doing virtually everything.
And you were learning on the job.
Exactly. So as you grow, then you assign roles to people.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean you don't know what the people do. You do know exactly what they're supposed to do, how they should do it. So it's really a blessing to start small. But it's not that people don't have the patience or the humility to start small.
I also put it even in a different way, that there is a reason why when you put a seed in the ground, you don't harvest it the next day. And there is a process.
Yeah.
And that process, if you are not ready to go through, then there's no way you can harvest.
That is true.
But people think it's philosophical.
No, it's reality.
It's reality.
Yeah.
And I think that most people want to start big. But as you said, if we fall, then
you may not get up again.
You may not get up again.
But don't forget, I didn't even want to start small. It wasn't intentional. I had a business proposition with funds coming from friends who had promised. Therefore, I was going to start those days at Snake Towers at Abraka with air-conditioned offices, and I put the cost and everything together. The only reason I started small was that all of them disappointed me.
So you didn't have any option?
I didn't have any option. I was holding a license, finance house license, that I couldn't start. So then I looked at the office that belonged to a friend of mine, and I said, I have an office. My friend's office is an office that I control. So I better start instead of leaving the license to follow. So I called my friend and I said, Charlie, that your office is making losses. I think I have this license. I want us to start finance. They said I can do anything I want with it.
Wow.
And therefore, when he came, I said, well, we started, there wasn't much, I was struggling, I wasn't seeing head or tail of it, and I said, okay, fine. We start, let's go and register, you have 50%, I have 50%. That is how we started.
Wow. So per what you are saying, and per your experience, it means that even if you have more, you advise them to start small.
Start small.
Wow.
Because then you learn. And if it won't work, you can see it, and you can pull out. When you put everything into it, you tend to stay and it must succeed, otherwise you are in big trouble, and therefore you get stuck to it, and it may even ruin your life.
You know, I'm writing a book, and the title is The Seed Mindset. And in the book, I wrote in the book that if you want to plant maize and you have got 100 bags, test the soil and the maize with 5 bags.
Maybe that's probably too much. Maybe 1 bag.
Or even 1 bag. Then, when you see that everything works, the soil is fertile, the seed is good, environmental conditions are okay, then you put in the 100 bags. But if you go and put all the 100 bags and you realize that the soil is infested, you lose all the 100 bags. So the seed mindset means that they need to start from humble beginnings.
Absolutely.
And I think people don't have that patience to start from that level.
Yes, because people are doing things to prove to others, so-called other people, that they have made it. They've started the business. They are okay, which is not necessary. Because you show off that you started a business, you put in so much money, and if it fails, then what?
Wow.
It's rather to keep quiet and start small and learn the business and control the business and grow the business, and the people themselves, the so-called people, will see what you've created. And even that shouldn't even worry you. Because you have created your business and you are running your business. Whatever they think is none of your business.
Wow. Now, leading a team of 3, the company started growing. Let's give an example now, 100 staff. You gave an example that when the team was small, you were the one that was interviewing staff, doing a whole lot. Even you are the ones that will go and chase the money. Now, 100, you don't get the time to interview them. You don't get the time to do the things because you want to get the right people, but you don't have the time. So it means that at a certain stage, you lose grip of the things that you used to do. How do you leverage to make sure that the machinery works, though the numbers are more?
It's not difficult. See, the company is growing organically. As in 3, then you realize that maybe the people to chase the money, you need somebody else, so you add 2, and it goes to 8, then goes to 10. Now, initially, you are the system. You set the tone, you determine who should do what, who should be employed, who should not be employed, the kind of values that you want them to have. You determine everything because you don't have systems. And you are the system. Now, when you got into, and at some point, I sacked all my staff. That time we were about 8. And I realized we were up to a few things. So I got to and I sacked all of them.
Wow.
But then I had to, what do you call it, eat my humble pie and bring in 2 who were critical, who knew where the clients were. And just warn them and threaten them and things like that, you know. But then after that, they know me. They know what I expect. And I lived what I expected.
Yes.
So then, you grow it. By the time you're probably at maybe above 10, you must start introducing systems. Someone should be in charge of, say, HR, to take care of the well-being of the staff and things like that. Someone should now handle accounts, but even though I handed over accounts to someone, I use my diary to track every money in the company. I would write all expenses for the day, all receipts for the day, and I knew exactly where we were. Then you have to find people to also go and write the report and bring the, instead of you going to assess it, they go assess, write a report and bring to you, and you grow. But then as you grow, you are now putting in systems and structures. And one thing is, I believe the important thing about running a company is having respect for everybody. Now, what ensures respect for everybody is systems and processes.
Okay.
This is how it's done. This is the HR policy. It doesn't matter who. If you fall foul of it, this is a sanction.
Yes.
If you excel, this is the remuneration or the benefits that you get or the perks that you get. It should be clear to everybody. It should not be, hey, come to my office and do it. No. And people should know that this system is transparent and it's fair and it's applied to a fault. That's how I grew the company. So I used to sack very easily. And of course, there was the people knew remuneration. They knew that we set up a welfare fund as we were growing, and we put some of the profits of the company in the welfare fund for the staff. So the staff at one stage said, "Sir, you are a very nice person, but we fear you." And I said, "Oh, why? Me and you, how we are? Why do you fear me?" They said, "Sir, you are laughing with somebody in the morning. After they say you are sacked the person." I said, "No. The people sack themselves. Because they know what they're supposed to do, and they didn't do it. And I sacked them because I can't let them be amongst the right people. Just as a farmer who clear the weed for him to get a good harvest, I must clear the bad ones so you guys can flourish."
Yes.
And they had to accept. And I was fair all the time. I used to sack my brother, I sacked my nephew, I sacked my director. It is what it is. The company comes first. And everybody must actually subordinate themselves to the laws and policies of the company, starting from me. So when I put a policy in place, I bet you I will never go contrary to that.
Wow.
And then for you, who joined me to build a company, how can you do it? What you do, you go home.
So that's leadership by example.
Absolutely. So growing the company wasn't really difficult. It doesn't, see, people ask me all the time, how do you get the right person? I say, it's not a headache. You hire any person who comes along who has the right qualifications to do it. When they come in, they get infected with the kind of culture that you created.
Yes.
If they don't fit, they go out. So don't worry. You're not going to find saints to bring them. No. If they are bad, some of them are bad, but they kind of realize that, hey, so this place can change me. It can guarantee me a future if I do what
the right things.
If they're able to change, they fit in. If they can't fit in, the system will expel them. So getting the right person or not the right person, it's not even an issue for me. It's never been an issue for me. I used to ask my staff, Charlie, we need somebody to do this. Do you have a brother or a classmate or something? They bring the person. We brief the person what he's supposed to do, that give him the inside orientation, and he starts work. And if he falls foul of the policy or the law, he or she
you have to pay the price.
I remember when we were about 10 people, a beautiful lady came and said, he seen that we are working here, that she needs a job. I looked at her and I said, you are pretty, go and be receptionist. That's how I employed her. That lady became so involved with the work that at some point when we had a client who was not paying, this lady met that client at Makola and caused the client's arrest.
Wow.
You see how you can actually infect people to live for the company.
Of course.
It was not a schedule at all.
You can re-engineer their minds.
Exactly. And that is how you have to run an institution.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, attitude is very critical.
Of course.
At the workplace, right?
It's almost everything.
But when you look at most corporate organizations, they invest so much in skill set and not attitude.
That is true. You see, but attitude is the culture that you create. And because you can't quantify it like
Yes.
he had grade A here and grade 2 here. That is why the advice should be there. But for me, I say culture is everything, or attitude is everything.
Yes.
And the attitude is coming from the values of the company. A lot of companies, you go to strategy sessions, they have vision, mission, values, and things like that. The values bit is so critical because the whole HR policy is drawn from the values.
Yes.
Integrity means no stealing, respect for all means your behavior towards other people. Everything is coming from the values.
Yes.
And the people is the most critical factor in running any business, especially in Africa.
Yes.
So if you don't get the people and the culture and attitude right, I don't care what business it is, it will fail.
So it means that if the attitude and the culture is right, vision and mission will be on autopilot.
It will be easy. If you read a book, Good to Great,
Yes.
it says if you get the right people on the bus, it doesn't matter that you don't even know where you are going. They will find the destination.
The destination.
But if you know the destination and put the right people, the wrong people on the bus, they will miss the route.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
It's critical. And for UT, our growth was all due to the kind of culture that we had, the values that we actually made sure was running in the system, the veins of the people, and the culture. As soon as we lost the culture, the company went down.
What was the in summary of the culture that really sustained the organization? In summary, what was the culture? Like that one thing that it held everything together.
I don't think you can say it's one thing. Let me break it down. Our culture was based on the values of the company. The values were 1, honesty or integrity. 2, is professionalism, because we emphasized on training and make sure that people knew what they were about. 3, we had the why not. We call it why not value, because don't turn people away. Ask the question, how do I solve this person? So it's a matter of trying to solve the problem for the person. Then we had stepping up to the plate. Stepping up to the plate, don't just make promises. Once you make it, you will live by it and you have to fulfill it. Then we had the culture of respect for all.
Yes.
If you ask me, respect for all summed it all up, but you have to break it down for the others to understand.
I think it was a chapter in the book, isn't it? Respect for all.
Yeah. And then we had one final value of Ubuntu.
Yes.
That I am because you are. And all these came together. So in the company, there was transparency, there was respect for everybody from cleaner to myself. We're all treated the same. And if we went to cafeteria in UT, I queued. I say,
you were not served separately?
No.
Your food was not brought upstairs?
No.
Wow.
No. I go to the cafeteria and I queue. I'm behind my messenger. And sometimes I'm talking to him. Oh, shall we fall back 1 or 2? Let's discuss this while the queue is moving. And that's the way we moved. I would take my food, carry it to the table, and sit with them and eat with them. That was the time that I could even relate to some of them. And lunch was free, every UT staff. But when I go, I queue. Because I am saying that we're going to practice the value of respect for all. Respect for all doesn't mean that when I come, I'm the boss. If I respect you, you have been there earlier, and therefore you should have your food earlier. And my office had an open door policy. I'm sure you expect it. You come in as and when you come, because people don't keep time. So when you come, if you are the third person, I see you the third person. Then I had my number, telephone number in every branch of UT saying, if you are dissatisfied, call me on this number.
Wow.
The funny thing is that people didn't believe that was my number, so I had very few calls. But if you called, your problem was solved. And the staff all bought into it. If a CEO can make himself available to solve people's problems, to listen to us at any time, then they had to do the same. So people walked into UT's offices and they were excited that you get them, people are ready to help, and everybody would take the other person's job. Because it's for us, because some offices, let's say, if the culture is not right, you come and say you're looking for Oscar, and I don't really like Oscar. We haven't seen him, sit down, and they leave you alone. But if the relationship is good.
Yeah.
Oh, Oscar, wait. Okay, it's not that. What can I do for you?
Yes.
And you're served. And people, that culture really propel the company because they put in their everything. And they know that the company will also be there for them. That is the military kind of leadership.
But do you think it's the best culture, for example, for you to go and queue and you are behind the messenger? I think as Africans, we like the bossy type of leadership where it's like, look, the boss is coming and everybody is running.
Okay.
Don't you think if we come to their level sometimes,
Okay.
behind the scenes, you lose a level of respect?
You are right. But let me ask you a question. Would you prefer that you treat people equally, even including the boss, or not? Which one is right?
I think that is right. Like what you were practicing.
For Africa.
I think so.
You are right, too. Because listen, let me give you an example. And if I were in that position again, certain things I probably wouldn't do. Not because they were wrong, but because people don't understand. But the issue is, that's the way I am.
And that makes it difficult.
Yeah, so I can't do things that are alien to me and my habits. But let me give you this example. Everybody knew you can't carry my bag, and I didn't have a driver. So one evening, I closed from work, and the staff, security men, drivers were watching TV in the reception. And I got there, I said, okay, good night, gentlemen, ladies, and I left. Then I realized my car wasn't there because my son had moved the car or something. So I was coming back to ask them where my son was. As I was getting back to the reception, the conversation I overheard was that, well, this CEO, this is a proper CEO who left to carry his bag. CEO, when he comes crying, he just greets you and then he goes. And the one guy said, if I were the CEO, you think you'd be watching TV here? So to your point,
yes,
it's alien to our system, but it's the right thing to treat another human being like you. Because the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself.
And that is the biggest commandment.
Unfortunately, we don't get it. And we think, and therefore it actually works generally, but it's not the best. But it works in most companies. I know a company where if the CEO is coming, everybody must vanish from the corridor and the lift area, and he walks in without greeting anybody and goes to the lift and goes straight to his office. That company is there up to today.
And that is what I think they understand.
Do you teach them what is right, or you accept the wrong things that they believe in?
As you said, the company is still existing, right?
Yes.
So we can make an argument and say that we thrive better in fear and panic.
That is our culture and tradition, our natural culture and tradition. But when you want to run a business, I believe you must dictate the culture that should run the business. If you don't have the right culture, your growth will be stunted.
At a point.
Because UT's growth was phenomenal. I mean, from what we're talking about, staff of 4, within about 11, 12 years, we had grown, we had UT properties, UT logistics, UT Nigeria, UT South Africa, UT Bank, all in a period of 12 years. In Ghana, I think it was ahead of us, therefore all the recognition and things that we got. But it is because we built the right culture. And we didn't build the typical Ghanaian culture in the business. Because that Ghanaian culture where the chief, for example, is above the law and nobody questions the chief, it is not good for business. It is really not good for business. Because the chief or the boss is the #1 staff and he must set the tone and the pace and lead by example 100%.
Wow. So if you are watching us, you must learn this, that you have to be part of the process, not in absentia of the process. Because that is what the man did. And I think in all humility, it's so amazing that because of what I do, training for corporate organizations, sometimes you sit in a training, you facilitate a training, And when it is lunch, you don't see the CEO, you don't see the HR.
Even the training won't come.
Yes. Yes, they will not even come.
Trainings.
They will not even come.
All trainings, if management was supposed to be there, I was there. And they were all done on time too, because I will not be late. You know?
This is kind of interesting, and I think there is a whole lot of lessons to be learned. And you know, I don't know whether it's ego or it's kind of difficult to really.
It's our upbringing, which is from our natural culture. Our culture is one. See, when people are being brought up in Ghanaian homes, they are made to fear authority. You can't even talk to your big sister anyhow.
Yes.
Even
if they are wrong.
Yeah. Sometimes, even if another person talks to you, you look into their eyes, they say you're a bad person. You can't look in their eyes, you have to put your head down. What kind of training is that? So they grow up being timid, fear of authority, and always scheming on the blind side of authority.
So there's a foundation to that.
Yeah. It's coming from our homes.
Wow.
You know, so when you come to UT where, you know, the staff can call me and tell me anything they want. And I take it, and sometimes I tell them it's rubbish, it won't happen. And they know when I'm serious with that, you can't do anything. And I explain to them, you know, and I tell people that as far as I'm concerned, the business is your number one family. It's not your nucleus family. Why? Because you spend the best time of your life at the company. You leave at your house at dawn or early morning, go to the company and stay there till it's dusk.
Yes.
Before you go back. And the best part of your life, that's where you spend it. Number two, that company gives you the means of survival to the nucleus family. Without that one, nucleus family will not survive. So people must know that if they value their lives and want to live their lives, they must live a decent life, a life of respect and dignity, everything in the company area. If you go to the company and you say that, hey, you know, this is difficult and I'm not happy here, then your life is being wasted.
Yes.
You should be happy in the company. And I used to tell staff who joined UT, I said, in the very day that you wake up and you feel that when you don't feel like coming to work because of stress or something, it means you are ready to walk out of this company. But when you feel that way, come and see me or see the head of HR because something is wrong. I want people, when they wake up in the morning, to be excited that they're going to the company, to meet friends.
Because the work environment is conducive.
Absolutely. That's what you have to create. You create a situation where people want to come. At UT, I remember, sometimes 8 p.m. and they're supposed to close by 5.
They are still there.
The lights are on and the place is buzzing with activity. 8 p.m. They were not being paid anything extra. No extra pay, nothing.
Wow, what a culture.
But they knew that this was theirs and we had promised that we're doing loans in 48 hours. So everybody is timing the process. And to add to it, when your loan is about 48 hours and you come to me, I will stop everything I'm doing. In actual fact, we had a restaurant just at the back of the office somewhere in Osu. People will come to me with their file whilst I'm eating. And they say, the client is waiting, the 48 hours is up. And I'll stop eating my fufu, wash my hands, look at the report, approve it, and continue eating.
Wow.
Civilians saw it. I said civilians. Other people saw it. Other people in the restaurant saw it.
Wow.
Because I have set the deadline and I must lead it. I won't say that I'm eating, no, this year I'm eating. I'm not in a lot of companies. You can't go to the CEO when you're eating to see.
No.
But they'll come and stand and say, sir, you have to sign.
I think you should have to take this leadership team to a different level.
Which level?
Like, a lot of people must experience this kind of conversation.
Yeah, but the point is, some people don't believe it. So what are you going to do to them? But talk to any UT staff. When UT was collapsed, They don't literally fit into any company. The other is kind of being too known or being too upfront. And therefore, they don't fit.
Because of the training.
Yeah. And so all of them, all that I've met, they always say that, Chief, we didn't know what we had. You know? So, but that leadership style is what we need, but it's alien to us.
Yes. It's very alien.
Because you find, let's move it to the higher level, as in the president. The president who is being paid everything for him to serve us acts like a chief or something, and he has a meeting or gathering or something like that. When he's coming, all the vehicles must park for him to go, can be late about 2 hours. It simply means they don't respect us, which is sad. But we accept it, and when he comes, we play national anthem, and we say, no apologies, never. Because president is supposed to apologize.
There is one thing I always say, and that is, sometimes if you are the guy that goes to functions early, right, and it delays 2 hours, and when you start complaining, those who came in look at you that it seems you are mad.
They
rather see you that you are rather mad. Don't you know you have to come late? And it's been accepted.
It's our sickness. We are sick.
We are too, and you see, this time conscious thing, like I do a lot of, functions in the UK, I speak and all those kind of stuff, train and all those kind of stuff. And there is one thing I've learned, that the Africans, for example, in London, they go to work on time. When it's a white man's function, they go on time. But when it's a Ghanaian party, when it's a Nigerian party, when it is church and the Ghanaian is a pastor, they come late. I don't know how this works. I was going to be an MC for a Ghanaian lady and a Nigerian guy. And the wedding delayed for 3 hours.
Because it's our own.
But those people wake up in the morning and they go to work on time.
Yeah.
So how that disparity, I don't get
They
it.
specialize it as an African thing. So it's special to us. It's sad, but that's the case. These same people can stay in the UK, wherever, for 30 years. As soon as they land in Accra,
Everything,
all those things
values goes away.
Yeah. And then he goes to the airport and says, hey, take something more. You know that you couldn't do such a thing for 30 years. Why are you bringing
it here?
You do it. So it's special to Africa.
I was going to speak at a function and I was there 30 minutes earlier. And the organizer said, you are here too early. Yeah. I'm like, 30 minutes earlier, too early? Mm-hmm. And sometimes if you go on time, what happens is that before you realize, like, if you are not careful, you are the one that's going to help them to organize the chairs. I've done interviews in London for like 10 years. And there's one thing I always tell people. All white people I interviewed, they come at least 30 minutes before time to come and have tea or coffee, have a normal conversation with me, talk about how the interview is going to go before we start. Almost all Africans were late. The time you're about to start, that is the time he's boarding the train.
Well, so as soon as they get there, you tell them time is over. If you're coming for any interview of mine and you are late, you know that you're out. Completely. Being late or not keeping time with someone simply means you don't respect the person. Period. Because your time is your life. Your life is your time. All that we have in every living thing, including plants, all you have is time on earth. Time differentiates the unborn from the living and the dead. The unborn never had time. The dead, their time is finished. It's only the living that has time. Therefore, time defines your existence, you're living for your life. If somebody jokes with your life or your time, it means he's joking with your life.
Wow.
It is so clear. Now, since we are talking about business, let me tell you this. Business, when you run a business, people will come to give you custom or patronize your goods or services only because they want to improve their lives. It's as simple as that. The reason why I will go to buy anything or pay anything is because it will add to my life. So the question is, what do we mean by improvement of life? Your life is improved if your time is extended. 1. And 2, if your time constitutes quality time. So people need 2 things. They need time-saving service or product, or product or service that gives them quality time. Period.
Yes.
Finished.
So it means that you have got a business when you have got those 2 things.
Any business that got those 2 things is a complete winner. Take your phone, for example. It saves you time because, of course, as soon as you lift, you've done your business. And you've got entertainment and things and everything, camera and all that on it. It gives you quality time. That is why almost everybody is holding one.
Wow.
Because it saves us time,
yes,
and gives us quality time. So in every business, it's all about time. Time saving and quality time. What distinguished UT from the other financial institutions and even the banks was when we decided that we should pursue time-saving credit giving. Therefore, we came up with a loan in 48 hours.
And that was a huge strategy.
That was the
game changer.
Complete. And people said, how is it possible? But we had struggled to make sure that about 90% of the loans we could do in 48 hours. While the banks, even today, will do loans in about 3 months. But it's because they don't love the people. They don't want to respect the people because they don't respect their time. Anytime you respect people's time and give them quality time, they get attached to you. They always patronize your services.
Wow.
That's all people want. They want time saving and they want quality time. That is all. And if you look at business, the critical success factors of any business, 1 is the product or service and processes. 2 is the customers. 3 is the people. And 4, of course, has to be profitable. Now, if you look at the product must be served in such a way that it saves them time or gives them quality time. The customers are looking for time saving and quality time.
Yes.
Now the people should ensure that. That's why the people and the culture is very serious. They deliver the other factors.
The 2 deliver, yes.
So if you pay attention and get the right culture and attitude, whatever, for the people to do that time saving and quality time, you are a winner.
Wow.
And it's all about, life is all about time. And most people don't see it. People company with the wrong culture, you come to the office and, sit down. Just sit down. I didn't come here to sit down. I came here for a service to do something within my time. You can be nice about it. Because certainly the process requires a bit of time. At UT, for example, I said, if you are serving a customer, at least every 10 minutes, if you haven't finished, go and say something to that customer.
Yes.
If you ask it, they're coming. It's okay.
Yes.
At least he or she knows that you are respecting their time.
Yes.
And most annoying is the fact that when people are wasting your time, they will not even communicate anything.
No.
And they're having phones.
Yes.
And they are passing in front of you.
Yes, saying nothing.
That is insulting, and it's like they're taking your life for granted.
Wow.
If people will get that right, take this country, Ghana, for example. If the president decides to be at every appointment on time, and will insist that his ministers also are on time, and the ministers therefore insist everybody comes to work on time, imagine how productivity will be. Because the Minister of transport will be asked to fix the road so that the people don't stay on the road. And things will just, there will be the domino effect. Just paying attention with time. And time, you don't need raw materials. You don't need forest. You get discipline of the mind.
Discipline of the mind. Wow. It's kind of, I think time is even another whole discussion of its own. But the last time
I never tired talking about it.
But the last time you were telling me that hardly like a meeting at UT started late.
No meeting started late. You come and see me sitting there. And
there were consequences if you were late, right?
Of course.
Wow.
Oh, completely. I tell you to go on your appraisal. At some point in time, early days, you pay a fine. Then I remember I was at a meeting at Bank of Ghana, and I came in late, I think, or 20 cities or something. And when I came, I was holding my 20 cities. So my DMD said, but you are from Bank of Ghana, so why are you paying? I said, I didn't say, if you have an excuse, you don't pay. I said, if you are late, you pay.
Wow.
Here's my 20 cities. And it all went to the welfare fund. Otherwise, it will go on your appraisal.
Wow. Now, in terms of your staff and the collapse of UT Bank, do you think some of the staff let you down?
Oh, yeah, plenty.
Wow.
Plenty. In fact, it's in the third book which is coming out. And
okay. So there's a third one coming?
Oh, yeah, next February, my next birthday.
Oh, my God. We can't wait.
That is the UT Bank. What happened at the bank, the successes, initial successes, the problems we had, and there were a lot of problems. And I'm documenting everything for posterity's sake, so people will learn what not to do, and so on and so forth. And I'm talking about some of the staff failing the company. Ours, I'll tell you a little bit. Ours was very complicated. When we said we're going to become a bank, we knew that no government will give Kofi Amoabeng a license, bank license, because the existing banks, there were the foreign-owned banks, the state-owned banks, state institutions-owned banks, and the only indigenous banks, individual banks, were banks that have been formed by previous governors of Bank of Ghana. So, man, how do you get a license? So we decided to buy an existing
license.
So we circumvented it. Now, doing that meant we had the old UT staff. Then we had this failing bank that we acquired, the staff. And then we also had new staff that we had to push because we didn't have quality bankers from almost all the banks. Access Bank, Barclays Bank, the Standard, UBA, okay. So all of a sudden, we had UT culture. We had BPI culture.
Wow.
Then we had cultures from all over, and they came to sit at the very top of all the departments. Very complicated, messy.
So that was the start of the problems.
Exactly.
So it's the bank that really started the whole.
Exactly. And it's the major, there are a lot of things that happened, but the major one is that we lost our culture. To the point where some of the new ones who came were even raw thieves. Some of the BPI guys too were stealing. Then my trusted UT staff said, we struggled and brought the bank this far. These people are stealing and then nothing is happening to them. So some of them also started stealing.
Wow.
And I tell you, one day, because the loans were not being paid and there were defaults and non-performing loans, I couldn't sleep well, and I said, okay, fine, let me set up a control team to go around and see why and how big the problem was. They went to Takoradi. There was an area manager that I trusted, proper UT material, and he was the area manager. He had approved the loan where the collateral was supposed to be a 2-story building. When the control team went there, it was a marshy land with no building.
Wow.
And I said, if gold will rust, what will lesser metals do? And I knew the problem was above me.
Wow.
I've lost even my trusted people. So culture is everything if you ask me. Because the people ensure the product is right, ensure the process is right, ensure the service is right, the people, ensure the customers are happy, the customers are retained, the customers will come back. So it's the people, the people, the people. And therefore, if you get a people one right, you are a winner.
Wow. So, is it about the growth of the bank? Could it have been that you could have started with a main office, make sure culture was right, then you expanded gradually?
No. We didn't do it because that was a strategy. Originally, we were going to have UT Bank and UT Financial Services. So when we bought the bank was supposed to stand on its own, and then the old UT to stand on its own. But around that time, Bank of Ghana came up with a raise in the capital requirement for a bank. And we didn't have the money. And if you buy a bank, I think at the time, the minimum capital was about 7 million cedis, something like that. And it was raised to 60 million cedis.
Wow.
Which was then about $60 million, because it was 1-to-1. Now, if you bring in someone who is going to bring 50 or 60 million, then you sold the bank back.
Yes.
So it's gone. So when we thought it through, the only way for us to keep a good portion of the bank and let it remain a UT bank was to merge UT Financial Services and UT Bank.
So that you can raise that capital.
So that so UT Financial Services capital comes into the bank to make it realizable. And then for IFC and DEG, other foreign investors were all interested in the UT story, so they also paid the part of the capital. So circumstances made us merge the two. Originally, we're not going to merge the two. And there are a whole lot of things. You see, the UT bank going down, I liken it to the Titanic going down. And a lot of things should happen together for it to happen. In that case, there were a lot of things. And it's not going to be, I will expose everything in the third book.
Wow. So the story of trust is very difficult here.
It is. You can create it, but you have to guard jealously for it to be manifest. You must guard it jealously. When you create a trust, guard it jealously. See, when you are growing organically, it's easy to keep it.
Yes.
But in our case, for example, so we're about 200, whoosh, another 200 comes in. And then another people come in.
They come with their mindset, their attitudes, their behaviors.
And they kill it.
So the culture was diluted.
In fact, diluted to a point where it became, if it's tea, it became water.
Wow.
More than the tea and the milk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What advice are you going to give somebody that wants to start a business, or those who have already started but they have seen growth? How can it, because you see, with what I do in terms of corporate training, I sit down with a lot of CEOs and directors, and T2i is one of their biggest headache.
They should be sacking. Put the policy clear and put the culture right. And when they steal, they sack. You can't do much about it. And put systems in place that will expose it. Risk management and things like that around it. And of course, you have your auditing and all the processes that are there. Make sure the processes are tight, and there's
controls.
The doer and the checker and all those. They can still collude and everything, but the reporting should be such that if trouble is coming, you can spot it early and then investigate. But sometimes they investigate and realize that the person involved cannot be sacked. There's nobody that you employ that cannot be sacked. If you cannot sack somebody, don't employ the person. And anybody who falls foul of the law or the policy must be sacked.
They must leave.
It's automatic.
Yes.
Most times for me at UT, by the time somebody comes on my interview, the person knows that he's gone. And he knows that I'm the final person. But the person, by the time he gets to me, I remember some guy, tough guy, and that we were trying to help and things like that. And I heard that they are taking money from someone but not pay the money to the company. This thick, tall guy, when he got to my office, I looked at him quietly like this for about 2 minutes. And he broke down and cried. He knew he was gone. And I told her he had disappointed me. Because the people know that that is the formula, that is the process, that is it. It doesn't matter what relationship you have with PK.
Wow.
If you break the law and they do the investigation and write their report against PK, you are guilty and you are going. No pardon. Of course, I had a lot of enemies, even with my family members and chiefs and all sort of things, but the company comes first.
Wow. With all that you've been through, let's wrap up this whole interview. With all that you've been through, you look fit physically and mentally. I think a lot of people that will be sitting where you are sitting now, they will not even have the courage to grant an interview. What actually makes you different?
I get asked this question oftentimes. One thing is, everyone's created uniquely, right? Which means everyone is supposed to do something in this world which is special to them. Because of that, we tend to think we are special. But don't forget, you are one person out of about 8 billion human beings.
Yes.
Oscar, you ain't worth anything. Completely. You don't matter in the scheme of things. So the lesson is, stay very, very, very humble. But use your God-given gifts to impact the world positively.
Yes.
And trust that God will be with you if you do what is right.
Wow.
That's it.
Because sometimes I'm amazed and I'm like, because some of us, we find ourselves in some small trouble. And sometimes you can even look at your face and say, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
But with you, it's a different ball game. And I think these are some of the things we have to learn.
Have the right conscience. At the end of the day, you go to your bedroom and you alone lie on your pillow. Your pillow will judge you. Some people can't sleep. I sleep like a baby.
Wow.
I try not to hurt people. I try not to take advantage of people. I try to respect and care for anybody who comes my way. And so when I get to bed, I know that I'm trying. I'm not the best, but I'm trying to do what the Bible tells me to do. And therefore, I am free. I don't lord it over people. I know I have to be humble because I'm one out of 8 billion people. And I don't matter, no matter what I think of myself. And therefore, when I was most inspired to you, Baba, I had only one shoe. I had only one watch. Nothing special. I still have one shoe. Now I don't have one watch. Now because of caveman.
Because of caveman. I've seen the billboards all over the place, and I think it's a very good picture. Yeah, it's very nice picture. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful having you. And I think you should tell people, this is our last episode. That one thing that is going to take them to what we call the end of life. That thing that has held you in times of trouble, in times of challenges. That one thing that is going to help them to be at peace. Because now what I see with you, that you are at peace. And it's difficult to be at peace in the midst of the storm.
Oh, well, I think the one thing, which is true also, stay humble and respect everybody.
Respect every. That is the man that he will join the queue at the canteen behind the messenger for his food. That is a sign of humility. We are all born to serve. So if you are serving, it doesn't matter who you are serving. As far as you are impacting lives, that is how it's supposed to be. I can't wait for the volume 3 of the UT story. It's going to be an amazing, amazing story. We can't wait for February to come, because this man wants to leave a legacy that when he's no more, the next generation can take a book and say, there is a man that lived, and this is his legacy. What legacy are you leaving? Don't walk through this earth without making an impact. Just leave a legacy that people will say, because of you, I am who I am. Get a copy of these books. The first one, that is the volume 1, the UT story, Humble Beginnings. And the second one, the UT story, Building a Winning Team. It's entrepreneurship that is going to take Africa to the next level. Don't be afraid to venture into entrepreneurship. It's a very tough terrain, but it's doable. Because a man like Mr. P.K. Amoabeng, he has done it. You've got success stories of people who have done it in a space. You can also be that person. If you think you cannot be an entrepreneur, when you go and join somebody as part of the team, do your best to build good trust. Companies grow not because of the systems and technology we put in place. Companies grow because of the people that are behind the systems and the technology. In Africa, sometimes, especially in Ghana, it's one of the places that I've heard that why are you working so hard? Is the company for your dad? This philosophy must change. When you enter to support somebody, give it your all. I know a lady that stopped the job, and the CEO wrote, if you want to come back, we are ready to what? To take you. What it means is that that lady, she has left a dent in the company that anytime she wants to come back, she'll be embraced. That is the legacy you have to leave everywhere you find yourself. And this whole program is about the mindset transformation of Africa. Until our mindset changes, nothing will change on the outside. Let's build a continent that we are going to be proud of. Let's start from somewhere, from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top. Let's do our best. Get a copy of this book, Mindset Revolution, Re-engineering Your Mind from Prison to Purpose. It's a must read. Everything starts in the mind. Success and failure starts in the mind. Until you win in the mind, you are not going to win on the outside. Let's build the Africa we want. Like, comment, and share. We're going to bring you the next interview very soon. Stay tuned and stay blessed. I'm going to end with my hashtag, it's possible if only you believe. God bless you.